Hello, and welcome to a brief guide that is going to go over 10 different tips and tricks for movement in Guild Wars 2. This guide is generally directed towards newer players who may not know much about the game, but hopefully some more experienced players can learn something from this as well. Additionally, this guide covers a lot of different aspects of the game, some of which you can take into consideration the second you start playing, and others you can only consider after unlocking certain things, such as different mounts or masteries. Finally, the bulk of this guide is important for open world movement and exploration, such as how to navigate maps. But there are some tips that are important for you to consider in other areas of the game as well, such as combat. I have spent the last 10 plus years playing Guild Wars 2 and have learned quite a bit about the game through my own discovery and practice. Some of this is well documented in the community, and some of this is not. So let's get started. With both of the Path of Fire and Inner Dragons expansions, the second mount that you unlock is a Springer. Most people know that you can use a Springer in order to leap high into the air. This is obviously very nice to be able to reach various different areas. However, if you've ever tried dismounting the Springer while in the middle of the air, you will learn that you cannot until you land on the ground again. However, if you press your dismount button at the same time as you jump into the air, you will gain the height that the Springer will take you to, while also allowing you to do other things, meaning that when you get to the height of your jump, you can begin gliding or you can get onto your Griffon or Skyscale mount. This is an easy way for you to get some quick height to use your Griffon from, or to get some height for your Skyscale to start from, or to allow you to reach various spots easier than you could have with just a Springer or a Skyscale. This next one is probably the most talked about example on this list, and that is dodge jumping. Dodge jumping is a cool trick that you can do by pressing your dodge key and the jump key at the exact same time. This allows you to get the forward momentum of a dodge while also getting the height from the jump. Typically, this is exceptionally good in jumping puzzles like the Winter Wonderland or Super Adventure Box, where you can speed up your run through the puzzle by skipping certain areas or even making jumps easier compared to regular jumping. There are some applications to the open world in PvP, but most of the time you see this with content like Super Adventure Box. One important thing is that while you can air strafe while jumping, basically meaning you can move your character horizontally while jumping, you cannot do that while dodge jumping. You are locked in forward momentum. Dodge jumping is actually a little difficult to do, especially when you are first practicing it. But the nice thing about it is that it is very accessible and you can practice it anywhere, anytime. With Living World Season 4, you can unlock the mastery Bond of Faith in the Crystal Champion mastery track. This unlocks a skill, Bond of Faith, that you can use while on any mount. This ability will leap you forward and is very helpful for navigating the world and reaching certain spots. This ability is actually so powerful that you can skip entire jumping puzzles with it. But what most people who are new to the game don't realize at first is that this ability is affected by momentum, meaning if you are standing still when you use it, you will leap forward a little bit. But if you use it while you're moving incredibly fast, such as at the fastest point of a raptor's leap, you will move significantly further. So when you are using it, make sure you use it when you are moving the fastest to maximize its effectiveness. But be careful of not overshooting your target. Next on my list is to utilize your Skyscale and your Griffon together. This is a very simple combination that will allow you to navigate maps much easier. As you get onto your Skyscale, you can begin climbing up in the air. As you gain some height, you can dismount and then quickly mount onto your Griffon, allowing you to use it from high up. This is obviously incredibly beneficial because it is an easy way to reach certain locations super fast without having to spend too much time trying to find a high up location to start your Griffon flight from. My next tip for you is to use your Springer or Skimmer mount to replenish the endurance of your other mounts. All of your mounts share the same endurance bar, so if you were to use your Raptor Leap and then get onto your Roller Beetle, you would have to wait for your endurance to build back up before you could use your Roller Beetle's boost ability. In addition to that, each of your mounts recharge endurance at different rates. You can probably see where this is going. You can utilize a Springer or Skimmer who quickly recharge your endurance to use on your other mounts. This is commonly seen with the Roller Beetle, which takes a very long time to charge its endurance. If you accidentally use your endurance and you want to use your Roller Beetle, or if you mess up your boost, just hop onto your other mount really quickly and then you can use your Roller Beetle faster. This next trick is a little special and I'm going to summarize it as Tonic Rushes. There are various different items in the game, specifically tonics and toys, that allow you to use various costume bra abilities that allow you to travel super far. The two most common examples of this is the Executioner Axe Toy that lets you use the Corpse Toss ability, and the Endless Troya Pinata Tonic that lets you use the Row Out ability. The Executioner Axe Toy is an item from the Executioner's outfit that is a gem store exclusive item, but the Endless Troya Pinata Tonic is unlocked by purchasing it at the Casino Blitz reward cashier in the Crystal Oasis for 1,000 casino coins that you can collect during the Casino Blitz meta event in Amnoon. Nowadays, Tonic Rushes aren't super beneficial because of the existence of mounts, but are still nice in certain situations where you can't use mounts but can use the tonic. such as in pre-Heart of Thorns instances, areas that have the mount disabled effect like jumping puzzles, or when you are doing the achievements to complete festival races / adventures on foot. Back to mounts, my next tip is to use your mount's dismount to reach certain areas. Whenever you are on a mount, like your raptor, you can use your dismount key to get off your mount, but when you do this, you also gain some height and you can move around while you are up in the air. So this typically gives you a supercharged jump compared to just regular jumping. This allows you to quickly get up to certain spots faster compared to running around or using another mount. This isn't the most useful thing in the world because you can just use a spring or a skyscale to make most jumps in the game, but it is nice for two reasons. Mounting and dismounting is a faster way to jump up in certain spots compared to other methods, and it is easier to get up to certain areas if you are running along on, say, your raptor, see somewhere you need to get up to, and just dismount to get up compared to dismount, getting on your springer, and then jumping up. My next tip is a little bit complicated because it encompasses a lot of similar ideas. It is also too complicated for how little of an impact it will have for most people, but I wanted to go over it anyways. As most people know, you can hold down both your left and right mouse buttons in order to move around. If you didn't know that, here you go. However, something I see a lot is that people do not have any keys for turning and only keep keys for strafing. When you're holding down both of your mouse buttons, your strafe keys and turn keys will both just let you strafe. So having two sets of keys do the exact same thing as each other is kind of a waste of keyboard space. What a lot of people do, and here's a tip for you, is to keybind your Q and E keys to something else, such as a couple of your skills, and rely only on your A and D keys for movement. However, I want to push forward an idea to you about the value of keeping both your turn keys and strafe keys as they were. This is something that I do, and I actually swap the two and let my A and D keys be turn keys because that is how it originally was and that is how other games do it. On the bottom level, this is definitely a preference and is what is comfortable to me, but it also allows me to move in different ways that you wouldn't be able to if you didn't have both sets of these keys bound. The most prominent example of this is that you can have a wider range of movement when you are not pressing both your mouse buttons. This makes it easier for me to move around in an unrestricted way while I use my mouse to put down AoE fields, markers, navigate my inventory, or do anything else I need with it while I am moving around. For me, if I didn't have my turn keys available, I wouldn't have as many options, I wouldn't be able to do as much. Additionally, the loss of keyboard space does not bother me at all because the combination of my keyboard, my control layouts, and my hands all fit together in a comfortable way for me, and I have no issues pressing any of my keys. To summarize this complicated tip for you, experiment with your keyboard and mouse to come up with a control scheme that works best for you. Try using both your strafe and turn keys for movement and keybinding your turn keys to something else, and then go with what is most comfortable for you. My next tip is also a little bit of a weird one. If you did not know, the Jacko mount has a faster running speed compared to the Raptor. However, people tend to prefer the Raptor over the Jacko because using the Raptor's leap skill periodically while you run is faster than running on the Jacko and using its blink ability as you run. However, things change a little when there's an elevation change, where the Raptor's leap ability is not as good as the Jacko's blink ability when going up large inclines. One quick note is that this is only for situations where there is a massive elevation change, like steep ramps. For most parts of the road, this doesn't matter at all, but a lot of people believe you need to use your Jacko while going uphill at any hill. And while it definitely is faster, I want to share the numbers and give a couple of thoughts. Alongside this, I want to show you the numbers you get if you were to spam your jump key while going up the ramp, assuming you have the conditional mount movement ability input disabled in your settings. I used the ramp from the Crown Pavilion to the Melandri point, where I started at the time when I entered the ramp and finished the time when I reached the top of the ramp. Here are the small and rough numbers that I got in each of these scenarios. Running up the ramp on a Raptor, 7.3 seconds. Running up the ramp with the Jacko, 7.12 seconds. Running up with Jacko and spamming blink, 4.59 seconds. Running with Raptor and spamming leap, 5.18 seconds. Running with Jacko and spamming jump, 6.4 seconds. And running with Raptor and spamming jump, 6.59 seconds. So from this, note 1. Running with Jacko and spamming blink is definitely the fastest way to go up hills. Note 2. Running with Raptor and spamming leap is not that much slower, but do be aware that this becomes less effective the steeper the incline. And finally, note 3, whatever mount you're on, it is faster to run up a hill while spamming jump instead of just running. So to summarize this tip, if you're ever going up a hill on a Raptor or a Jacko, just spam your jump key. If you want to try to optimize your timings, you can do some calculations for whether or not it will be faster to get off your Raptor, get onto your Jacko and start blinking up the hill, or you can just stay on your Raptor and jump up. It's overall not that big of a deal. You won't be slowing yourself down too much. Personally speaking, I only ever use my Jackal to go through sand portals or in videos because I like how my Jackal skin looks. If I am ever going uphill, I never bother spending the time to swap to Jackal, and instead I just spam jump if I am ever going up large inclines. Most of the time I don't even interact with a lot of steep stuff because if I am ever going up a very weird or uneven terrain, I am probably on my Skyscale. And now my last tip for you is to understand every single idea that is available for you and to combine them together in ways to interact with the world you didn't previously think possible. There are a lot of tools in your arsenal between gliding, various masteries that interact with gliding, the Jadebot glider boost mastery that you can upgrade to boost you up even higher, all of your mounts, all of your other masteries, everything I have said in this list, and more. There's a lot of stuff available to you, and as you learn the game and learn how to utilize these things, you can basically reach any area you want. Here are two basic examples of this that I want to showcase. Example 1, if you want to get up somewhere super high, and I mean super high, you can get onto your Skyscale and start climbing up. As you use up all your energy in both your endurance bars, you can use your Bond of Vigor to restore some of your energy in both your endurance bars again. As you use those up, you can then dismount from your Skyscale and start gliding. As you glide, you can use your Jadebot glide booster to gain even more height, and then get onto your Skyscale whose endurance bar was regenerating while you were gliding. You can use up your remaining energy and endurance, and then you can use your Bond of Faith to gain a little bit extra height, and now you're super high up in the air. And example 2, if you want to quickly get high up off the ground and start using your Griffon, you can hop onto your Skyscale and dash twice through the air while flying upwards, and then use your Bond of Vigor to dash 2 more times, and then dismount and start gliding, then use your Jadebot glide booster to gain more height, and then hop onto your Griffon and start flying around. If you fully understand everything that is available to you and how to utilize them, you really can do a lot with this game. After all, Guild Wars 2 is built on the foundational idea of freedom of movement. Thank you for watching this guide. These are all various tips and tricks that I have learned over the years, find super useful, and use almost every time that I play the game. If you have any other tips, tricks, or suggestions, feel free to leave them down in the comments so that we can all learn even more. I hope you all are having a good one. Take care of yourselves.